Today's question comes to us from Kyle, and Kyle writes, "Dear Mr. Forbes, I recently watched your episode called Should I Work for Free? I think you made some excellent points, but honestly now I feel more confused than before. I'm just starting out, I need to be able to get some experience, and I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. I don't mind working for free now because I'm still learning, and I think it's the best way to get experience. I will start charging someday, but after hearing your advice, I'm not so sure I know where to start now. Can you help? Thanks and love the show." Kyle, thank you for your question. This has been asked a number of times, both in the comments and I've gotten emails from people about a follow-up to that episode of, well, I'm inexperienced, I'm starting out, how am I supposed to do this without working for free? Well, I still stand behind everything I said in that episode. You should never work for free. And I know that's my opinion, and I'm glad you asked about this, but I really stand behind it. And let me tell you why. When you start doing jobs for free, you develop a reputation as the person who works for free. And when people don't have a budget, you're the guy they call because they know you'll do great work for free because you put a lot into it. When they have a budget, they'll think, oh, we're going to go over the top and we need to get somebody else who really shoots well, and they'll pay for somebody else. They won't give you that money. That's just how it works. And it's very unfortunate, and I know that goes against the grains of what you might think may be the obvious, but it is fact. That is going to happen. You're going to do a lot of work. Your work is valuable. It's worth something. Your cameras cost money. Your experience and your education and your knowledge cost money and or time, and that is all stuff that you should be billing for. Now, I think there's kind of a second thing here that you're getting at, and you're asking how you're supposed to get experience. And so what I don't want to do is not answer that. Experience is different than working for free. And I understand that breaking into the photography business, depending on what you're trying to do, and you didn't clarify that, so I'll keep it general, can be very difficult. Most avenues of photography really are a tough business to get into. They're very competitive. There's other people that are shooting. You're going to be competing with people who are willing to do it for free, and it is hard to do. First thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get some confidence in what you're doing, and you're going to have to turn down things that don't pay. That is absolutely essential, and this is really important. When you're working, there is a value for value type thing that is going on here. And what you can do is you can work for a value trade out. And so let me give you an example. There's a gentleman who lives in my building who is a very good friend of mine, and he's been a photographer for quite a while. He actually was a video producer probably about 10 years ago, and he moved out of that and started going into photography. And very recently, he wanted to kind of change roads again, and he wanted to go into doing corporate headshots. And so one of the things that he did, we have a Facebook group for everybody who lives in our building where we keep up with one another, and he put a little posting in there, and he said, hey, I'm trying to get some experience in a portfolio together doing corporate headshots. Would anybody like to do a trade out? If you'll come sit for me, I'll be happy to share the images with you, and you can use them on social media or whatever you want to do with them afterwards. And that was actually a pretty good idea because he's not working for really a job kind of thing. He's trying to build a portfolio, and so he offered a value for value trade out. His images have value, and if somebody in the building said, hey, you know what, I do need some headshots that I could use, and I'll go sit and we'll do the trade out. That way he gets a portfolio out of the deal and they get some images out of the deal, and that works pretty well. Now he'll still have to go around, and if he's selling corporate headshots, either to somebody who brokers that or to corporations directly, and he's still going to have to sell that. But he does have a portfolio now of experience to do with that. If you want to go shoot events, find an event that you can take your camera to and start building that portfolio. It doesn't matter whether you're being paid or you're there. And in fact, it's probably more free to be there without a client because then you can shoot the kind of shots you want to take. If you want to shoot weddings, next time one of your friends gets married, take your camera. There are 2 times in my life I've shot weddings, and the first one I got the job because a friend of mine got married. I took my camera and they liked my pictures better than the wedding photographer. I didn't really give anything away. I just took my camera. I wasn't on the clock or anything, and I took pictures when I felt like it. So I didn't capture the whole ceremony. I didn't capture all the right people and the couples or anything. I just took some good pictures. They really loved them. I gave them the JPEGs when they were done. I didn't give them my source files or anything, and I didn't do any printing, but I turned over what they wanted. About 2 years later, this girl's sister calls me and she said, you must shoot my wedding. And I said, well, I really don't do weddings. She goes, no, I saw what you did at my sister's wedding and you're the photographer I want. I charged for that job, but I was already in the door because I had some work somebody had seen. I later found out I had no interest in shooting weddings, and that was that. But that's how you get work, and I kind of accidentally fell into that one time, but that's how you do it. You have to find a value for a value trade-off. You know, next time one of your friends gets married, if you want to shoot weddings, show up, shoot the wedding, do a better job than the photographer there. I wouldn't give away prints or anything, or source files, or don't get into anything where it's a client relationship. But if they want the pictures later, fine, give them to them and see what happens. Because what you need to understand is when you start getting into business, how you market yourself. There are a bunch of ways you can do this, but the most valuable way you can market yourself possible is word of mouth. And this is more valuable than any advertising you'll pay for online, or doing a brochure or business cards or anything. Word of mouth is the best, because what'll happen is somebody says, hey, this guy was really good, he's the guy I recommend, and that's the guy they're willing to pay for. That also works the opposite. You don't want them to say, hey, I know a guy who shot for me for free, he'll probably do it. That's what you don't want. So those are things to consider. Value for value. The other thing I want you to think about is confidence. And you must, and let me repeat that, you must believe that your work is good. That is the key to everything. I haven't even seen your work, and it doesn't matter what I think. You have to believe that you're as good or better than anybody you're going to be competing with. You absolutely have to think that way, because as soon as that confidence starts to drift, that's when we make poor decisions like taking a job for free because we don't have value in our own work. And that's really important, and I can't stress that enough. Look at any athlete out there, and most will tell you that winning is the result of teamwork and confidence. As soon as a basketball player believes that he won't make the free throws, he will have a hard time making the free throws. He will have a hard time with a lot of things. And so that's really difficult. You must believe in yourself. You must believe in the work that you do. That is seriously important. The other thing you've got to understand, and I think this is the downfall of a lot of creative people, is that your talent and your skills as a photographer do not necessarily mean that you're going to have a successful business. Those are two different things. I could see where people make that disconnect. When we're improving our skills at whatever we do, it's personal and it's emotional, and we hold a high standard for ourselves and we try to work through that. And therefore, when we go into the business world, we kind of take that with us, and that's a mistake. And I can give you proof of that. Look around. There are countless photographers, graphic designers, illustrators, video people that do mediocre work, but they have successful businesses because the two are not the same thing. In the perfect world, I would like to be good and be very successful. But just realize that those are two different things. It's good to want them both, but don't ever think that success is because of where your work is, because you say some things in here that you're still not sure of yourself. And so you need to get real sure of yourself really quickly. When you're talking to somebody who's a potential client and you believe in yourself, you just might sell it. If you come in and you're like, well, I'm just starting out and I'm a beginner, and you pull all that, that's when people don't see a value in it. So belief in yourself, confidence, value for value, these are things you need to understand, and you need to be creative about this. I said in the beginning, this is a tough business. It's very competitive, and that's why you got to put all that extra into it. But those are things that will help guide you as you go along. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please remember to like it and share it with your friends. And as always, subscribe to The Art of Photography for all the latest and greatest videos delivered directly to your inbox. Anyway, that's about all I got for today. Once again, folks, it's been another episode of The Art of Photography. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.